Take it away, boys.
All right, thank you very much. The map here in this best of one, it's going to be Inferno. Flipside Tactics versus Selfless. And it'll be Selfless starting on the T side, consisting of Lucky, Kusta. He is still the horse and not the lion. Uber, Mainline, and Relics. Over on Flipside, we've got Markalov, still Markalon, Shara, Blade, Bondic, and World Edit.
Strong lineups on both sides, and just as I think Thorin said, I would expect to see this be a pretty close scoreline overall. Selfless is not a team to sleep on. They did play really, really well at the minor, though not versus any international competition, especially the likes of Flipside, who will give them nightmares on T-side, I'm sure. Here they have to start on their own T-side and try to get as many rounds as possible. I think that they're going to need like more than a positive half here, though.
So World Edit very, very alone here, and now also blind in the B site. Gonna have to fall off of spools. Players are running amok all over the B bomb site already. World Edit gonna get back into construction, try to stay alive, even going as far back into the sandbags, and whoa, flash bouncing over. Actually, it's a decoy. Doesn't even distract him. World Edit able to get one kill. Now Shara has come in. Try to find another trade. They know they've got one pin to the corner, and guys, we'll get that X-ray on for you in just a second. Now that's Mainline who is in Garden. Shara is able to take him down. Bomb has been planted, 4-on-3. Kusa taking a ton of damage. Shara moving up here. He's checking in dark. Lucky's hiding out back there. Peeks out quickly with the Glock. Actually finds 2 kills. Not getting a third. Blade puts him out of the round. 1 versus 1. Time getting low. Relics, he goes for a quick peek. Buying time. Can he fall back to Banana? Doesn't need to. Hits the shot. Selfless. Start off strong with the 1 round.
Yeah, long story short, they picked the right site. I mean, there was one person there to defend. He was able to fall off into construction. What I got worried about was the fact that Mainline was there in Garden, and he didn't have anyone to crossfire with them or to help him out in general. We just had like proper afterplant spots right out the gate. We had one quad, 1 emo, but then Mainline was kind of stranded. When they killed him and they were able to kind of just flood the site from there, I was a little bit worried that if people didn't hit their shots right away, that they were going to get surrounded pretty quickly, but they managed to each get a kill, and that's simply how the round went. I mean, it was low utility, and they were counting on hitting shots while creating good spacing with the Glocks.
All right, so oh man, being so careful, going up on the car to even check sandbags, but Shara there at the 5-7. He's gonna pounce first, gets the opening frag, gives up a P90, which could still be a little bit scary for some of these guys, and well, Blade and World Edit here for Flipside haven't even gone in for the armor. Shara did, and now he's got the P90 with it. 4-on-5, Selfless. I mean, it would be devastating to start off getting that pistol round, which can catapult your T side towards success, and then get stopped in a round like this.
Yeah, I think their best bet right now is to group like they're doing at top mid and pick a side and hit it. When they're down 4v5, it's a huge advantage for Flipside. I mean, the man advantage is one thing, but losing the gun and then all the map control is another. So here they have a smoke to actually wrap into CT. I don't know what they're going to do with this, if they're actually going to follow through, but oh, they do find a kill, and that could change the pace of things.
Yeah, there's no gap there either. I'm not sure what Mainline saw, if it was just a read on his part, but he finds a quick frag with the MAC-10, evens it up. Lucky's clearing out the site. Silence bullets everywhere. 1 in Graveyard, 1 in Pit. Lucky is dealing with them. Actually, Izzy Bondic able to take him down, and now it's all going to fall on Kusta here with the Galil, and still with a pretty good chance on this round if he can just take out Bondic, and he does. Did he take any damage for that? No, he's at 100. Now he's going to spot Markalov, but time's in red, and if it says anything less than 4 seconds he can't plant, he'll get there in time. And Markalov going to start his push up, down behind that spam box. Galil in hand, not sure how much ammunition he has left. And there it is, Markalov moving in with the MAC-10s, able to secure the round. And also hopefully we can get those health and ammo bars up as well.
Yeah, I like how they actually split the site with the smoke that made it seem like they were going to wrap. I think the possibility of them wrapping was really unlikely, though, so it might not have caught Flipside completely off guard. However, once they actually did and came through the smoke, I mean, they took the site pretty cleanly, apart from Bondic and Pit being able to stay alive, get the bomb down, get 2 frags. So that made a big impact on them. The thing is for Selfless, right? They had a 5v5 situation. 1 player died with no trade, and that's kind of when you get to the when you start thinking, if we knew we were going to lose somebody, or if there was any chance of that, we could have just used that guy to scout a site completely and then hit the other one if there was a sack or cause a rotation by sacrificing him. Instead, you lose that option, and you kind of have to group because you don't have anyone to kind of throw away to get some information, especially already down a man.
Yeah, I mean, and Kusta, he certainly had the opportunity to still win that 1 versus 2. He killed the player in pit, no problem. And even Markov had taken some damage, only at a Mac 10, but he's able to close the gap, gets in close, and the Galil still the Galil.
Yeah, I mean, the Mac-10 has a tighter spray than the Galil, and Kusta's health wasn't high enough to help him survive more than one dink. Here, though, we have Selfless buying up. I mean, they got nades, they have Tech 9. This isn't even just a, a tilt buy. It's because we saw Flipside lose everybody but one person last round, so their economy isn't in a great place, and they would be susceptible to a low nade buy.
Yeah, and Selfless trying to keep the pressure on that CT economy will go full force buy here and full utility as well. Mainline and Relic starting things off. Bondic and Graveyard's going to fall too. Relics with his second kill of the round. There's another one for Mainline as it goes into the library, and it's not to read a book, it's to kill Markelov. Shara, the last one with the UMP, and what a way that Inferno has started off.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like there was going to be a lack of explosiveness there as Uber died right away coming out halls, and no one was there right behind him. I think it was good of Mainline to take a little bit of time to wait for his teammates to come up lane, but originally it looked like that was just going to be a force that got shut down because of bad spacing on the split. And it ended up being the case that once those guys came out boiler, we had a kill come out, Graveyard was shut down, and then that Balk guy had free reign on the site. And there's no one in pit, so I think that would have been one of the stronger positions you could have been in a situation versus the force up, where you can keep distance, have really good cover, get multi-kills from that spot, but there was no one using that position for some reason.
So World Edit actually coming into this round with the glass cannon op, pistol armors, expensive pistols too. Deagle's coming out and that UMP's still there on Shara, so somewhat of a broken buy, force up from Flipside. Money's still going to be tight, Selfless. Even though they do lose a round, the fact that it's going back and forth, CT's not able to build up their economy on Inferno, this can actually be so good for Selfless. But they do have to be careful. They of course lost the second round on their anti-eco.
Yeah, they can't go back and forth too many times. I'm actually surprised that they did decide to force up. I mean, it's very common that if you lose the force up again right away, but that round was so extremely convincing for Selfless. We see even like this round they have 3 M4s from the other team, obviously, and tons of money to buy even if they lose. So it's probably not even worthwhile here for Flipside to try and throw caution to the wind. I mean, if they have a game plan to do it, it makes sense, but it seems like they're just in a 2-3 with no nades.
That's a big kill for Mainline. He's extremely patient. Selfless actually a little bit more patient than Flipside here. As World Edit looks for the information at middle, Mainline kills him, and the bomb had already shifted over into the top of Banana. With the top of Banana control, Markelov playing passive in the B site has now been pushed off of Spools. Shara, big gap in the smoke. He's going to push right on through, and still not able to even get that kill onto Lucky. Maybe a frag he should have had. As 5-on-3, bomb going down for Selfless. A couple members are quite low. Blade will try to pick him off.
Oh, wow. Bondic actually has an op. I see why they did that. I didn't even realize he had that kind of money. But, yeah, going to save is going to be his best bet. He made noise with that thing, so Selfless are going to smell blood here. And they see a very, very good opportunity to not only take him down, but get an op for themselves. And Mainline comes away with that frag. Another round for Selfless. That's 3-1 right now. They picked up an op, and they're moving into this next round versus a complete eco. I mean, Flipside would be absolute fools in this situation to buy. I mean, we definitely won't see it.
Yeah, that's actually, well, Mainline started the round off there. He waited. World Edit peeked him with that op. He was glass cannon, and Mainline hits the first shot, so of course you can't aim. World Edit dies, and then still he's sitting there as Bondic is now trying to save it, getting back to pit or apartments. Mainline's just posted up, kills him in the same exact spot, more or less. And now Flipside, like you said, it would be foolish to buy in at this point. Selfless leading 3-1.
Again, Flipside not known for their CT sides, though. We've seen it happen so many times. I mean, they have a lackluster CT side, and then they go into T side and, play the round out to its fullest, its maximum potential. They could bring it down to the last second. They get as much map control as possible in the safest way possible. They have really good routines on their defaults, like better than most teams in the world. But at the same time, if Selfless do have a good T side themselves, I mean, all they have to do is be fairly competent on CT, and they should be able to secure at least some of the rounds and push it into a victory. But yeah, I mean, this is just basically the start that they want.
It's very unfortunate timing for Bondic. He was the only one that went for an upgraded pistol and got himself into the dark room. And I think we also saw Relics clearing out the Nook over at the Arch side with the Molotov. So it's nice to see them using their utility early on to just make sure they don't lose another force. Something they didn't really end up doing back in round 2, which kind of got him off to a questionable start. But another force buy wins. And finally, we might actually get to see the first rifle round of this game here in round 6.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean,
And
they do
not
have.
even, really.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that qualifies this is like a full rifle round is they at least have a kit. They all have armor, and they all have a smoke, which is crucially important on Inferno, as we all know. Delaying for time is integral to winning round on CT side. And there goes the smoke. First smoke at a top mid. A lot of noise being made in apartments as Flipsid aren't even playing here. And Lucky just rushing out for the frags immediately. Blade gonna get a 2K. No, mainline takes him down. And they have the whole side of the site that matters. The bomb is gonna go down. Kusta has an op to cut off rotations. And he will have to hit a shot, though. Being aggressive in this situation makes a lot of sense.
Kusa is going to be a big part of this if Selfless are able to get themselves another round. Relic's buying time with a lot of flashes and nades out over towards Moto. Kusa, is he being pressured? There is a man lurking around, and that's Shara over on porch side, but he's going to go try to help Relics, who has just fallen. Flash is going every which way. Kusa going to try to push out of this with the Tech 9. Can't get it done.
No, he can't. They actually do hold. I mean, that was interesting. Like, Selfless, instead of splitting up to default, tried something fast. Halls worked for them with Tech 9s. They started to do it versus a low buy from Flipside. I think it would have made more economical sense to take advantage of your advantage in that situation. High utility, ability to op, and just bleed out the few smokes, flashes, Molotovs that Flipside had on that round, and they would have had, you know, I think a really easy time at least getting the opening frag early, but decided to go a little bit faster and try to throw him through a loop. The thing was they'd done it before, so I don't know. It's a risky call, I suppose.
Well, Selfless, though, still had money in the bank, are able to get to another full rifle here in round 7. That means Kusta with his op, of course. No such thing for Flipside. Told that it will not have his yet. Lucky in apartments. Oh, wow. Eats a nade, but does hit the headshot onto Uber.
That was Markolov's grenade.
Oh, what? Wow,
Right,
that was a team nade. I was wondering, it went off right under him. And he was getting shot at. Didn't take that much damage, but does get away. Who knows? The nade might have even obstructed some of that vision for the player shooting at him, as they often do.
Now, Flipside 5v4 are you know, up a man. They're playing standard right now. They have a mid smoke down. They've got a player on site. They're falling into a passive setup, which is all you really need to do. You can let them come to you in this situation, have a really good time defending the site. B site, 2 people is more than enough to at least go 2 for 2 and then have a 3v2 retake. And A site, just hold it down completely. You know, with pit, with balcony, there's so many OP spots that you can use on the site.
Well, World Edit playing out here in Moto. Bomb actually still down at the T stairs for Selfless, so they're really just trying to work and gain some map control, find a kill. Still some amount of time, and that gun doesn't even have tracers. Mainline knows exactly where that door is, or he is really lucky. Finds the headshot onto World Edit. Just like that, 4-on-4, and it'll be lucky to drop back the T-stairs, pick up the bomb, and okay, they've got control of CT and 2 men in Banana. Markolov, though, is stopping them very low. Kusta gets the op shot, nicely done through the pillars, and Shara unable to hold it from Dark Spot. So, all right, really late round execute onto CT spawn and a split over from Banana. That takes control of the B site. Bomb goes down, and it's 3 versus 2. Blade and Bondic are out of here. They're saving their guns. Yeah,
that was pretty interesting. A really, really convincing round. Trading out Markolov and CT was obviously the most important kill there. And Char going down the back of side, I guess, could be comparable because, you know, he's a solo man at that point. But ultimately, the trade's going the way of Selfless. I mean, it turned into a pretty standard split, and because they had that information, they put Markolov and CT to try to cut off the rotations early. But, you know, people not... just essentially not putting in the legwork there and getting the kills they needed to, even though it was kind of on the table for both teams what was about to happen.
Mainline did come away with a pretty lucky frag through that
smoke.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't call it luck. I mean,
putting that
you
smoke
have
there
sound.
Creates the opportunity,
yeah,
but fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, it's luck in the sense you got a headshot, you know, sprayed through the smoke, but you know, he had someone spraying back. You do have sound, right?
Yeah,
so
true.
there aren't tracers, that's true, but you do have sound, and you also, you know these angles like the back of your head.
Exactly.
The back of your head, the back of your hand.
Yeah, you don't know the back of your head. So let's see what Blade and Bondic can do as they've got these rifles. They're the only ones. And where will they actually be playing? Okay, they're going to take A for themselves. Just the rifles over it. It looks like Porch and Bondic is moving into the apartments. And then you've got some upgraded pistols over in B stacked up.
I like that. Like, you know, if you play in apps, you're more than likely going to be able to get a 1v1. It's, you know, someone might be there to trade, but you can get a 1v1 and ideally get a 1v1 and fall off to, you know, a really safe spot like pit. and then all your rotator spots are open. So you leave arch open. So if there's like an arch trap going on, you lose, but that's the risk you take. And oh, looks like someone's actually just walking up right now. Lucky just going through the smoke. That might cause a problem for them, and he actually gets a kill on Blade as well.
Well, Markolov's able to kill Uber, but that's about it. Can World Edit get anything done? He hasn't quite been spotted. He himself is blind, hiding out in water and smoke. Smoke on the water. As
Deep purple.
yeah, there you go. Somebody got it at least. He waits, man. Patience. He'll find a kill onto Relics, and actually has made it close to a 2-on-2. And one of those rifles is still alive as World Edit finds another dink onto mainline. Brought down to 12 HP, and Bondic rotating from CT. Beats out Kusta somehow. World Edit now starting to peek, trying to take the attention of mainline, and somehow Flipside with only 2 rifles on the other site. One of them even went down early, but they're able to win out thanks to World Edit's patience and Bondic's rotation.
Is that a lack of explosiveness? I mean, they had one person with a PT-50 on the site, and they know rotator's coming. They had Kusta post on the rotator. Bondic hit an insane shot on him. Obviously, Kusta's opping. I don't think he got to shoot. If he did, Bondic probably would have died, but World Edit doing an extra amount, like too much damage with that P250 and being able to stay alive, even though it's completely understood where he was in the site, was a big issue. Selfless came in explosive and then slowed down once they weren't able to get every single person on the site right away.
All right, well, mainline and Kusta working on control in mid here for the Terrace. World Edit on arch side with the op, as is pretty common, and Blade helping out, supporting with the rifle on porch. Uber and Relics working into Banana. And oh, actually there's an opper here as well. That'll be Kusta going up on top of the logs, trying to look into the back of the site, but finding nothing. Shara and also Markolov are a little too forward.
Yeah, this is they're playing everything really standard here. World Edit has the op, so I think they feel comfortable forfeiting top banana
angle.
Control. Yeah, catch someone coming down the stairs. Smoke comes out from arch, and I don't think it's exactly telling him as to what Selfless want to do apart from just take top mid. But now they have a lot of info. The only thing Flipside have going for them is this op.
Well, Blade and World Edit have actually just switched sides now. World Edit peeks out, but he misses the shot. Mainline gets one, and I guess he ran into his own fire that he might have dropped down. He's taken himself out of the round, so he's done the work of Flipside for them. And now Bondic finds Kusta, so that leaves Flipside a man up, 4 versus 3. And Selfless had left the bomb all the way back on T stairs, looking to execute top of mid and maybe go for the B split like in a round previous. Uber's getting fired out, and Markolov will get the free kill onto him. 4-on-2 now. It's up to Lucky and Relics, who are still working their way back into A, which is pretty undefended, but Bondic's in a very good spot. If Relics checks it from Graveyard, though, it's maybe a different story. And Relics actually gets World Edit, who's walking over from the arch side. Now he's been spotted. Bondic able to take down Relics, and we'll have to fight Lucky, who's pushing out of the smoke, so automatically he's at a disadvantage, and well done to Bondic. Solo man on the site, and he holds it.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do in this situation is stay alive and ideally get your frags, but you put yourself in a position that you can hold long enough. You have the best retake spot in the map, so never give that up. And delay for your teammates to come around the corner and they can help you shoot, but he ended up doing all the work himself on top of just staying alive, which was I think the key play there. And Bondic up to 11 frags already is trying to get Flipside out of a bad spot, and that's at a round disadvantage on the CT side of Inferno. And Selfless are going up for another buy, and it's a very low buy. But I think because they had lost the second round, it's a good buy would have only came to them if they had won a round convincingly. And these rounds have been kind of messy. There hasn't been really any clean ones. The rotations have been good late round when enemy have been low, which is I think the sign of a good team coordination on T side in general. But that being said, they haven't had a super consistent way of winning a run on T side. They've been kind of just going with the flow, and sometimes going for map control, sometimes taking it fast. It doesn't seem like you can really pin a style to this team, as far as I could tell.
Well, they really like to go for this top bay control with 4 players, for Selfless that is, and they have one kind of in Banana with the bomb down on the stairs. And I mean, the one round that was one of the cleanest was when they had that set up. They got control of CT and then went back and got the bomb and just split into B. That was the most convincing round for me that Selfless had, and now they're trying to do it again, it looks like, and it's just being shut down completely. Markolov is finally traded out, and Relics gets another, so just like that, back into a 3-on-3, both Relics and World Edit low. So HP for both teams virtually the same, and looking at utility, it's kind of the same as well.
Oh, Shara was solo last time, didn't get a kill, actually jumps. I think that's an issue with his mouse there. And,
don't walk on the fire!
So close. close, Kusta. Hearing your warning.
I heard damage and didn't see his HP drop, so I have no idea how he's alive. Bondic has spotted Uber, who shifted over, and now that Molotov or Incendiary is coming in, so nice job for a Bondic. And on 6 HP, Kusta's still somehow able to get one, but Bondic will win another round.
Another one.
This man's been big.
Yeah, he is. He's that's a 3Ks up to 14 now. Yeah, super good. He's been a lifeline for enemy in or for Flipside in a situation where they have I called him Selfless enemy before? I hope not. But
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Has been a saving grace for sure. And with another clutch round, that means that they've almost certain. Well, I mean, it was a really low buy last round from Selfless, and it looks like they're gonna go and spend a little bit of money here to try to get a buy going. I think again, maybe do their fast up mid strat. They're not spending all their money here. They're also not getting full loss bonus next round, so
they're close.
Yeah, they're close, and that's why they have at least 2,400 on 3 players. So I'm sure they wouldn't buy like this if they weren't expecting to buy next round, but we'll see. Forfeiting the op option is one thing, but on T side, on T side Inferno, it's really hard to get an op to put an op to good use.
I mean, a lot of teams won't even use it, but Kusta feeling like maybe he needs to have the op in his hand to be the star that we expect him to be. So we've seen him have it a little bit, but yeah, money maybe not going to be there as they try to waterfall out of apartments, and well, that's why that can be a risky strat. That gets cleaned up, no problem for Flipside.
Yeah, they made no waves on that round, and here if they decide to buy, Uber and Mainline are going to be really low. I assume they're going to be putting most of the utility on their other 3 players. Kusta actually does pick up an op, no armor. So, I mean, surprisingly, I mean, they spent so much money on that round that if they lose this round, you can look back and say that definitely wasn't worth it. I mean, they didn't have any economic input or impact, excuse me, which wouldn't have been even that important. I feel like, Flipside. I think they were banking on winning that round. And because they didn't, they have a really low chance of winning this round. Like 2 flashes in between Uber and Mainline, and then no armor on Kusta. Those are a whole bunch of disadvantages that you really don't have to deal with.
And I wonder why Kusta even goes for the glass cannon op, because the last time he was in this building at the America's Miners, he was fantastic with the rifle as well. So it's not like he can't do both.
Oh yeah, he's not one of those players. He's definitely an all-rounder, for sure.
But perhaps feeling it necessary to actually get the opening picks on a map like Inferno.
Yeah, it feels like Selfless are just, kind of feeling their way through this game. And I'm sure Flipside don't have that much info on the way that Selfless are going to play either. And World Edit getting the opening frag.
He had that angle, that sliver through the doorway on the stairs. Shot a man, and that was Lucky, who was not very lucky on that round. Kusta trying to work the pick up over Spools if Shara would only give him the opportunity. And it looks like he may, but since Kusta's blind, he falls off, goes back up for it. And Shara even grazing with a repeat, gets away for free, and okay, even more than that, gets away with robbery at that point. Finds a kill on the Uber as he's shifting positions, and now his team's here to help him. One in CT, one's already come in through construction. Oh, Relics. That's a hard shot to hit. Those columns are not very spammable, and that's Markelov that came through construction. Relics nearly transferring that spray 90 degrees to hit the shot onto Shara, and then eventually does finish him off, but it's still him by himself. This will have been either a 1v4 or 1v5 for Relics. He's going to go for the extra money. Times though, he gets the bomb down, and finally he's spammed inside of the smoke. Yeah, I mean,
you can go for the hero play, try to get that plant. I mean, try to win the round, excuse me, like smoke CC, but you got like too many other choke points that you have to worry about.
Time is really low.
Yeah, getting the plant was probably the best thing that he could possibly do there. Now for Selfless, it seemed like they were about to go into another B split through CT, and that might just be getting telegraphed at this point because they got that info by World Edit getting that pick and hauls that he was looking for this whole half, and then Mainline also getting caught off guard, switching in apartments. Now Flipside are looking to take control of this game again. I mean, they just went from looking like they were going to go, tit for tat with Selfless, and obviously that's bad on versus the T side, to looking to have a lot more control. I think have adapted a lot better and are making Selfless look a little bit less coordinated.
Yeah, especially considering Selfless got a lot of rounds, 3, I mean even 4 really, because of how the pistol in the second round went. So when it comes to the rifles, they've actually only got 1 or 2 of those rounds to their name. Here though, the trades go, and it's 4-4 now, as Mainline and Shara have been taken out of the round. Smokes to dissuade any more B aggression, and Selfless will back off and going to try to spread out, maybe find. These have at least found mid control, but you always got to be a little scared about what's happening in alternate too.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what I was going to point out next that they committed four people to banana, one person in bottom banana, which means that they were really hoping that they just get 2 frags so they can get a free entrance into B, or go 1 for 1 or 2 for 2, excuse me, and then be able to do an after plant. But instead they got the the 1 for 1. Know that it isn't safe to just run in blind and try to go back to mid just to keep Flipside honest, but have no info on alt, apps, anything like that. And that's always going to be in the back of their mind. Did Flipside push something?
Wow, World Edit, how do you miss that shot? He swings wide with the Tech 9, good for 1 more, and I think that's actually a friendly fire dink that comes in, as Markelov is going to slide, and okay, actually the smoke will dissipate, so he'll just go in for it. 3 versus 3, bomb going to go down, Markelov taking down another. Now it's just up to Lucky and Relics. Lucky at second oranges was thinking about peeking, but didn't quite go for it yet. Relics is working around trying to make the play, and Blade's actually moved on. He's forgot about watching construction right now. As soon as he turns over, Relics is right there. Now Lucky's going to make his attack out from behind Orange's. Great flash. Markelov was so incredibly blind, and now it's falling on down to Bondic. If he can do this again, it would just be insanity, and no, finally he stopped. Good team play between Lucky and Relics.
Yeah. I mean, definitely the most important part of that. Like they went up for the banana control, and it's not uncommon, it's not wrong to do that, to like send a whole bunch of people banana to see if banana's gonna be weak. We think we're gonna play it aggressively. Maybe we can go 1 for 1 on each of our players. But what was really good was the after plant, and we could see the patience from Flipside. Like let's hold off until our teammates rotate into the site. And nobody thinks that Selfless is going to win.
Not a lot of love for Selfless.
Wow. If you look at the round score right now, it definitely looks like Selfless is in a good spot, but there's a lot to say about Flipside, their T-side that we haven't seen yet, and also how well they've been playing out the rounds most previously. But what I was going to say was Selfless played that 2v2 really nicely. They, no one peaked at all, and second oranges became a spot that became more and more viable as the seconds went by because they delayed long enough. And now we're down to a 3v5 suddenly. Top B control is just won by Flipside.
Yeah, so Selfless have been able to work themselves up onto Arch. Markelov going to spot them here. Will Blade peek off? Yeah, he's going to throw the flash onto the roof of the library, peek out with that spray with the A4, able to get 1 and a little bit of damage to the others. Still 2 on 4. Selfless not in a very good position. Markelov with the number advantage he has might even decide to just push that smoke. World Edit goes in for another information peek and doesn't get any. Well, I guess he does. No one's there. They might have shifted approaches, and yeah, now Bondic finds them. Sliver between the wall and the truck, and maybe another kill from that angle. Not quite. Relics will take him down, but still a clean round for Flipside.
Yeah, I mean, looking for a 9-6 right now, and that's a pretty good half for Flipside. They're gonna have I think, let's see, everyone's gonna have everything they want in terms of nades. So advantages are at maximum right now. Obviously, last round of the half, and Selfless have a similar buy. They've done this 3 times, including this round, where they're kind of forced to, where they have head armor, Tech 9s. Not a single person has bought a Galil or an AK no armor. Instead, they're going to their favorite utility. And I think that makes a lot of sense, the favorite utility in a situation like this. Like, you close the distance with the flashes and the smokes, and then you one-shot someone in the head, you take their gun, and then it's a different round. But it does rely on that entry. And we might see World Edit come away with a free frag, and he has been really good at Arch.
Yeah, he has. He's been shutting everything down. Blade, actually, World Edit even tags that player, too. Blade going to bring down 2. Now a third over here from behind the porch. Molotov to roast Kusta as World Edit jumps through to find his second. And that round's cleaned up very, very quickly. Flipside will win the half 9-6. Very, very rough start for them, but with the 6th round, I mean, Selfless got 4 rounds off of the pistol and how that second round went, which means only about 2 rifle rounds did they actually win.
Yeah.
On their T side.
Yeah, and it seemed like they were pretty good rifle rounds, but after that was done,
they got figured out, though.
They got figured out, I think, was the key point. Exactly. I mean, that's what I saw too. When they started to split B, I think they started to get telegraphed a little bit, and the A splits that they were doing it was like the same one every time. It would be the one not the there were 2 A splits they would do, one where they were heavy hauls and one they weren't. And they got away with it the first time and then didn't get away with it again after that. So I think they were relying on their B split because that worked twice. And it's a one-trick pony. So ultimately, the team that can adapt better is gonna.
Well, should have worked again, but remember that one round with the smoke on the water and World Edit holding out with the P250, able to get those 2 kills or maybe kill and a dink, and then Bondic was able to close it out because he had a rifle that he saved. So that could have maybe been another one for Selfless. Could have broken that money. A Flipside on the CT side. And that could have been a very, very pivotal round if we look back on it after all is said and done. But now the question is, like, if these are two top teams, 6 rounds on T side, that ain't bad. But is it enough for Selfless?
I don't know. I think one thing to note is that Kusta very comfortable CT side hopping on
Yes,
this map.
that's a big variable for Flipside's point of view.
So let's run the theoretical. So like Flipside, you know, with their 9 rounds win a pistol, we might get to it might be already too late situation. If Flipside win the pistol, more than likely Selfless are going to force up because of how big of a deficit they have. They probably shouldn't, or if they do, Kusta shouldn't, right? And they should definitely try to get that
They'll
off.
probably not upgrade at all.
But to support the op, if you do the force up second round and then you save 2 more and then you buy, or you save 1 more and you buy, then you don't have all the nades you want. You don't have incendiaries, and every bit of utility goes a long way on CT side, especially versus a team like Flipside, which will bleed you dry.
Yeah, and on Inferno in general. Relic going for a quick peek here at the car, realizing that's a decoy. He's going to go back in for some more peeks. Mainline now going very aggressive with the P2K. A little bit louder, shocking off from Mainline. Yep, finds 1 headshot, now a second and a third through the pillars. Mainline.
Another one.
Yeah, the pistol round boss right now is hopefully that was a mouse sensor. Let's see, flips out. And now we've got Marklov and Bondik left in a 2 versus 5.
Yeah, not highly winnable. Really great passive spots. I mean, enemy not taking this lightly at all, not chasing frags here. They realize how important this pistol round is. And Flipside, in the same situation, have to be really creative. They don't have, they actually have 1 flash, which could mean something. And you know, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt until the round's over. 2v5s aren't won often, in my opinion. 2v5s are 100 times easier than 1v5 or even a 1v4 if the other team is playing properly. But a very, very crucial round. That could decide whether or not they get off to an early and stronger lead on their T side.
Selfless has a great setup though. 2 on each site, and they just left Lucky in CT spawn so we could rotate as quick as possible. Though Bondik will find mainline at dark. Now here comes Lucky. Is he going to be able to get anything done? Yes, he does. He finds Markelov. Bomb going down, but it's just a fake plant from Bondik. We'll get that reload in. Glock, of course, comes with a lot of bullets. Finding another Goosh, trying to be the juggernaut, but Uber will stop it.
Yeah, he try. I mean, let's say they get those 2 clean shots on the site at B. There was some whiffing going on in CT on the rotator. They had the opportunity to get those kills. Then they get an after plant to get the bomb down. Even just getting the bomb down could have been huge. Now they've got a dedicated round to just trying to get the bomb down. It also affects their economic decision. It also affects the buys that Selfless have. So like if you don't get the bomb down, then Selfless can be sure that they don't have to go up against a super sick buy, and that most likely Flipside aren't going to spend too much because they want to get the bomb down so that they can have a good buy for the next round after that. So, you know, less FOMUses, more SMGs. And I think even with all that, though, Selfless are going to be worried just about losing any round in general, and we'll worry about their economy second, and mostly about getting the round ahead of them first. But we do see, you know, Kusta with an MP9 and Relics with a UMP.
Yeah, so those are the 2 SMGs. The rest, I mean, 2 FAMAS and the M4, and no utility there on mainline. Kusta spotted him. They're starting to run up. He will get 1 dink, and then falling to the power of the Tech 9. Bondik and Shara combined find that kill, though Lucky from a distance. You're pretty safe from the Tech 9s, but then he goes close actually to a deagle, and he falls. Mainline in the pit, the hardest position to get people out of, so mainline going to be critical in this round. Now finding 2 kills. Bondik actually finding his second also, and there's mainline picking up the 3rd. Peeking out of the pit, and Bondik unable to do anything about it, and it comes down to World Edit with the Glock, no armor, going through the library.
Yeah, he's got the Glock, no armor, and this round came close. He's in a... I mean, he was in a pretty good position if his teammates were able to delay a little bit longer, but at this point with no armor, is going to have a hard time finding that frag, and Uber comes away with the kill. And now it's 9-8, and now we move into this round where Selfless can be certain that Flipside aren't going to spend money, and that they can actually rebuy an SMG if they wanted to. I think this would be actually a great time to do that. Kusta maybe just hanging on to this Tech 9. Not going to read too much reward bonus for that.
No, and yeah, no SMGs come out either. It was a FAMAS to be dropped over to Relics.
I think you can be pretty much as close to positive that the other team is not going to buy after trying to buy up last round. But I think they only saw 2 people with head armor, and so maybe weren't completely sure.
Well, Bonix able to jump himself into the window room. Kusta holding out with the Tech 9 for now at Arch. Probably a position he'll take a shot and quickly run away. As, well, PT-50s and Glocks in the mix. He's still in danger. He's going to spot one. He goes for one quick peek, and then, yeah, smartly falling back. Will live to fight another day. 2 men over on Porch, so it's up to Kusta here at Arch. And, okay, Flipside are correctly hitting the less defended area. They are blind. He wanted to go back for more. Nice fadeaway flash. I think it took an angle into the site, though it did, so not effective, and I think he realized it in time. He just falls back completely. So giving up some ground, but everyone's staying alive, and that's what's important. One in Porch, one pushed up to the truck for Flipside. It's World Edit in quite a battle, and Lucky finds 2 frags to end it. So just like that, pistol round goes the way of Selfless, and they're tied up.
Yeah, getting 1 kill, something. No bomb plants, though. And World Edit immediately picking up that op. They knew exactly what they wanted to do in this round. Bondig leading his team by a mile here. 21 frags already. I guess his most formidable opponent is Mainline with 19 on the other team. I think, you know, if you can get that many kills on CT side, it's much easier to do it on T side. The frags themselves are harder to come by on T side, but in general, if you're on fire and you're able to find 1v1s, then if your aim's on point, you're going to be able to get more kills on T side. So that might be good for him, a blessing in disguise. Or for the team, we'll see. But now it's 9-9.
And no op yet coming out for Kusta. Still actually 3 FAMAS here for Selfless. They got full utility, they got kits, but still the FAMAS maybe raises a flag that could give Flipside a decent opportunity into this round as the first rifle. And also they'll go for the op too. That you don't often see on T sides here on Inferno.
Yeah, and they're gonna focus the round around it. I mean, World Edit has tried to take peeks, but it's, Selfless have gone instantly into a passive setup. Have not tried to get bottom banana control, top mid control whatsoever. Aren't really peeking at all. And I think that's because Flipside don't have that many nades. I think it makes a lot of sense. Typically, you want to hold more aggressive control until you get a kill, and then you can be completely safe. But since they know that Flipside aren't on the greatest buy in the first place, they feel comfortable just with their passive setup.
Yeah, Kusta all the way over at Arch, so he's given that up, but no one exposing themselves from pit, site, or the balcony. And Kusta, he's on the other side of the wall. Okay, I thought he was about to get timing striked right there. Mainline and playing behind that single box. He's waiting for Markelov to come out, but it's Blade who gets into the site first. Lucky from pit is able to get him, but then he can't watch the apartment run out, and that's where Markelov finds the kill. Now Kusta left alone, rotations coming over, but it's going to be retaking into a 3 versus 4, and that passive defense did fall apart pretty quickly there at the A site for Selfless.
Did you? Kusta's gonna lose this. What'd you say? Was it that Kusta knew? Did he know that Blade wrapped? Did he know he was in library, or that he wrapped at all?
I don't think he knew he was in library, but he has to communicate that he's given up Arch completely. Because Blade just walked around, coast was clear, got into the site, and got a kill on a completely unsuspecting player.
Yeah, so the issue is, like, Kusta could have communicated that, but because he wasn't useful at Arch, like, he's either smoked out or, like, caught rotating or, like, had to fall off before he could, you know, take a shot or something like that, his teammates still have to worry about abs and lane.
They have to take that risk.
So even if they know that Arch is open, they got to just hope that no one came Arch at that moment. And Kusta, you know, I think had to be a little bit more useful in that situation. Really couldn't help his teammates at all, and ultimately left them stranded. I mean, it's really tough if you see, and I don't know what he saw, if you get flashed out or smoked out at Arch, to rotate back into it, you know, and not die, because if he dies, that's equally as bad. But his teammates definitely, I think, needed him there.
Yeah, and it looked like it was maybe the right call to be passive and try to wait out the utility of Flipside, but then it quickly turned around. And so did this round. It went to a 5-on-3, and just like that, Relics finds 2, but now Bondik's back on the attack. He'll bring down Relics, and it's 3-on-2. Kusta winning for the op. So he's got that, but already might find himself in a position where he's going to need to save. And we'll see where the bomb goes, as they've just picked it up now, though.
There's going up alternate. We have a player in pit right now. Markelov just waiting for Kusta. I mean, he's probably going to hear that scope in a moment. And, look to take a shot. Doesn't find the kill. Actually cleans it up in the end.
Early. But
since they know he's holding the A site down, Mainline can be fairly certain that he's going to call for the rotates here. And this would be a pretty crazy 1v3. He does pick up an op. I don't know if he knows it.
Still playing with the 5-7 for now. There's the op coming out. Bomb not able to be planted, but so much time on the clock that Flipside can no problem audible take that bomb over to the B site. Don't risk it. With mainline still on A and causing some trouble. Looks like he might actually end up finding this kill onto Markelov. Yes, he does. Gets a jumping / running. Maybe would have landed 5-7 shot onto Markelov. And now can just try to save the op.
Yeah, and this is where the long lanes of Inferno really take a toll on you as a CT, because you can be if you're on the other side of the map, you are really, really, really far. And even if you have a kit, it's just such a difficult retake in the first place. Even if you're close, that the distance makes it that much harder. You got to really take your time with those angles on B, and 1v2. It's really not worth it. They've got an op to save here. This round they ended up doing a fast push down mid, and they had the op to back it up. I mean, I think they wanted to use Kusta to clean up frags while 2 people pushed down mid. Relics did as much as they could, getting 2 frags there, but they couldn't get favorable trades. I don't know. They went from like super passive. These guys are like hot and cold, like on both sides. They got like we had Selfless go from super passive setup on that previous round where they had a huge economic advantage to like just a hyper aggressive round where they run down mid. Well, they still have an op, but I guess it's because it's a low buy overall. And on T side doing similar things with their speed.
And so far, the rifle rounds continue to not look very convincing for Selfless. Having won the pistol in both halves, that got them a fair amount of rounds. But now when it came to the rifles here, even on the CT side, they were still unable to hold on. They've lost 2 in a row, and because that op is saved, they invest a little bit more into this. Actually, how much money does mainline have left over? He's got $1,000. Kusta with only $950. I think he wanted to buy armor again as he was passed over the op. So they bought a little low, and okay, wow, Lucky gets tagged through the wall and then burned alive. Also World Edit, having thrown that Molotov. The 1-2 combo.
Yeah, and it looks like the T's are actually congregating back towards A. This might give Kusta a free frag or 2. Now, because they run into it before they've actually committed, I don't know if that'll mean that they pick the other side at this moment. But the presence of the bomb shows that they still want something to do with top mid, and there it is, rotating back to B, along with Kusta, however.
Yeah, well, it was like tag team. Kusta ran through Arch, fist bumped Relics. Relics continued on to A, and then Kusta switched spots with him going over to B with that op. So they're reading the situation, but still kind of hedging their bets a bit by having 2 on each site, and maybe even not, because Uber has now gone back all the way to the library entrance from CT spawn. Now Kusta is finding kills, flashing and delaying. Don't know if he knows Shara is in so close. Can hold the angle again, spawning the shadow if his settings are high enough. And oh man, World Edit's able to op him down as they force Kusta to peek because they start planting the bomb.
That bomb plant baited him right into the angle that he could just get opt, so that was really nice from Flipside.
And Uber, Mainline, and Relics, okay, they're able to secure themselves an op. Mainline's going to go in. Okay, they're just killing everybody.
Okay.
And I thought they're setting up Rexits, but suddenly they just win the round.
I mean, I was just going to start talking about, how Kusta had good impact on that round, but they'll just have to think about what they can do next, and then they come in with that retake and show that they're still in this game. That's pretty crazy for them. I mean, that's huge. They ultimately we're saving, we're going to buy now, but now they have such a better buy. They have 2 ops already.
Yeah. I think Flipside got ahead of themselves. They're like, all right, let's get out of here. Started going into Banana, aggressing down Banana, and then they ran into this crossfire of dangerous 5-7s, and everything just fell apart instantly with a ton of time left and easy to fuse.
But yeah, that's, I mean, I guess just to note, like Kusta having those two huge kills at the beginning of the round made a lot of difference. And for him to have his presence on both sides of the map shows you the power of having an op in the first place.
Wow. Lucky, very unfortunate there. I think he had to smoke out, and well, mainline, same story. Just everyone getting taken out from point blank.
This is super back and forth, and we just saw Flipside dominate halls in just their basic map control, like they have like a routine for taking out people in halls, and I don't think Selfless were prepared at all for it. I don't even know if anyone shot a bullet there. They just all got 1 shot. No, Bondic down to 8 HP, but that's a small consolation prize. It really means nothing.
So Uber and Relics holding out in the B site, trying to just stay alive. Relics with 1 of those ops. Aiming a little low if they happen to peek off that railing, and okay, it doesn't matter. They'll fall off and Relics lands the shot. But now his position is known. I don't think Uber has quite made noise yet, playing on the spools, watching that Banana push in. If Shara can go ahead and get into construction, that could be a problem, but he goes straight up. the main thoroughfare here.
I want to say that the rounds that Flipside have won have just been very impressive, and like there's a lot to say about their T side. And then Selfless, I feel like some of the setups they're using, they're changing it up, but it's hard to say like why they justified them. You know, for example, like going halls on that round, it's something new that they do, but I don't know what their thought was behind doing it. And you know, they've gone from full passive setup on A to rushing down mid to playing forward aggressive halls. And I guess because none of them have worked, it just makes it look like they're just trying things in general. But I guess, it's hard to get a beat on what their thought process is as a team.
And while this round starts off, or will we see some action? Smoke's down here at the top of Banana. Uber moves out. But so far, top fraggers in the match. We've got Relics and Mainline with 21 kills each. 16 and 11 for Lucky and Kusta. So Kusta 11 and 16. He's actually been pretty dealt with, and Uber at 5 and 15 having a tough time. And it's been Bondic that's certainly been leading the charge for Flipside, 23 and 12, but World Edit and Markolov starting to catch up at 17 and 13 respectively. And back in now to round 23, minute left on the clock. All the T's are congregated up here at the top of middle as, well, Shara will kind of back down to make sure no one's pushing Banana.
I actually much prefer to see like this type of setup where they do have a challenge at top mid. Lucky gets flashed in, but Bondic dodging it ends up getting a frag, and now Kusta completely smoked out at Arch means that the solo man here, Mainline, is going to have to get a multi-kill, or it seems more than likely going to lose this round.
Well, two people got the library very quick, but Blade takes the Mainline out of pit and then just goes in and kills everybody. He's cleaning up the house. And that was on 13 HP. He just picked up a triple kill.
Arch is his.
Certainly.
Wow. Oh, just huge rounds. That's insane. Blade just going up into that library, like that's his spot right now. He's done that a couple of times. And a very, I think, well-timed pause here in a situation where they're going to have to save, so they can talk through the eco as well, but they've got to consider that they're going on 14 rounds. They're not even going to have a lot of money to defend against match point. Nothing they've been doing is working. And again, like when we reflect on this CT side from Selfless, we see a variety of setups being used. None of them working, and so we kind of wonder what their go-to strategy is on CT side. If they've tried it already, which one it was. But there hasn't been a lot of merit or a lot to talk about in terms of what they've done well on CT side. It just seems like they get decimated no matter what they try.
Yeah, it seems like Flipside are really stepping up to the T side. They're hitting their shots, they're getting their entries. They've just been very good at taking control of everything. Yeah. And some unfortunate timings from Selfless. Like one round we saw two people playing really close angles, like just go to pull out a smoke to use their utility, then they just got taken out for free. And they've fallen on hard times. And, of course, when you're on the CT side, it can be tough. Now they're 3 rounds down. They're going to be making a comeback. Money is tight. Like, what do you change from here? Maybe try to get more aggressive, but so much on the line.
I feel like having top mid control, I think they need to go for some type of map control.
They were a little too passive on their first rifle rounds. Yeah. And that's why they lost them for sure.
Yeah, I think if there's one thing that I feel like as a spectator make me more comfortable to see from Selfless, it would be try to get that 5v4 a little bit faster, right? Because they know that first of all, Flipside are going to come out the gate a little bit more passively. They're going to delay their nades, right? They're going to space them out properly. So why not let Kusta peek mid, right? Why not get a halls push going on? Try to get a kill, right? And then go into their passive setup, which even 4v5 has failed, but you have a much better chance in that situation. And because once actually it didn't, they lost to a 5v5 because they knew that Flipside were on a low buy, so it made a lot of sense why they were going to passive setup, but maybe they need to get that 5v4 a little bit more quickly.
And I wonder now, like, Selfless is taking the pause here, which is fine. It's a great time to take a pause. Often talked about when the pauses first started getting implemented, the power of the pause, how many teams were winning the rounds after they took them. But then, like, I've sort of noticed the team takes a pause, and the team that has a lead is just like, you know what? We've been doing this default, playing slow. We got tactics in our name. We've been playing slow and tactically. Now we're just going to go crazy and rush something real fast. And everything you talked about suddenly doesn't matter. So Flipside can certainly, they've got time to talk right now too. They can put together one of their own aggressive strats and just shut down everything Selfless is doing.
I mean, they know that they've got a round to farm here, and then they can change the pace up in the next. It's, they can play cards however they want. Everything they do works. Their basic map control is dominating, right? Whereas, typically you have like basic map control, get a free pick for you, and then you go into an execute. With Flipside, they're getting 2-3 kills in a matter of seconds.
Exactly. And also on this pause, as they're talking about it, 2 minutes remaining, by the way, there's no money coming into this round for Selfless. Going into round 24, they've all got about $2,000. Relics has maybe a little bit more money. So they're talking about this one and the next rifle, because there's no way they force here. And we'll take a look at what the community thinks, what you guys thought the outcome of this would be. And well, initially it was the first time we saw it, it was 100-0. And I think Selfless might have proved themselves a little bit putting up some rounds. So they've earned themselves some percentages. It's, whoa, that can't be right.
Okay. That is correct.
Correct.
Okay, so I think...
What were we voting
there
for?
probably were. I'm going to assume there weren't that many votes at first. Then we showed the votes, and Selfless actually had a round lead
They were
at that
doing
point.
well at that point, yeah.
So people started voting.
Fickle community.
Yeah. Fickle community. Yeah. So always good to have a plan on an eco. It never makes sense, I think, especially with no money, to just simply send, you know, the same 2 B guys to B and then the same 3 A guys to A, instead to sack something, try to get a kill,
Agree.
bait them into your site.
And there it is.
Yeah, they're doing this by trying to play aggressively. But Flipside are super patient. I mean, it's going to be really, really hard to bait them into doing something. They almost always like to go for map control. Are very useful, have a high, I guess, stamina, round time stamina. Play rounds out really slowly, and are comfortable doing that all game long.
Yeah, seems to be something that comes from the region.
Yeah.
As, well, Selfless were doing a pretty good job baiting the trap there. Relics went out, did some damage. Uber went out, found a kill, and was even able to position himself in sandbags. And now Selfless, they're actually just pushing down Banana. Oh, that's unfortunate. Lucky was the one man at A lurking about in the apartments. He's taken down, didn't even have a say in the matter. And the bomb to be planted shortly, 4 versus 3, and Selfless with pistols and no armor.
So we'll start talking about next round here. I mean, you know, Flipside economy bolstered, fantastic. Selfless, however, after these 2 rounds, 2,400. After this round, we'll get 2,400. And well, I don't know if they'll be able to buy an op no armor. I think they'll have to put him to better use, because if Kusta plays Arch Standard, even if they want to play passive, if Kusta just plays Arch Standard, he's just going to get smoked out every time.
Well, it looks like they might be able to get out of this with 2 guns. So even though they're not at max bonus, they weren't going to have a lot of money. If they can drop 2 guns, then suddenly they'll have way more utility. But they will still be facing the op no armor situation, since you can't drop armor.
Yeah. But yeah, that is kind of nice for them.
And one rifle goes down.
That's a huge pickup for Markelov. And yeah, they're gonna be doing what they can here. Kusta's just gonna get the rifle.
Well,
yeah,
Kusta himself didn't have enough for the op, and then you don't want someone to drop an op and then go on to no armor rifle, because that's pointless.
Yeah, very good point. I realized he didn't have enough for himself. And I mean, he has been, you know, he has been neutralized. Like, he hasn't been able to have the impact that I think he wants to, or that his team wants him to. And it's because Flipside are not an easy team to play against. And when you try to go aggressive, they're ready for it. And when you play super passive, they will inch up on you, take as very few risks, and try to open up rounds as safely as possible on T side, which is not easy to do. And there's some, well, actually favorable trading happening for Selfless with this push down B.
Yeah, Uber went down right away, and it wasn't looking great because Redlix was blind, but he's still, I mean, you line up the angle, you know all the angles, very thin hallways. He actually found 2 kills and was able to fall back. So that put Selfless in a great position. In terms of this round, they're still down 4. They're on a big comeback, and Flipside is a team certainly capable of, even a man down on the T side, making a comeback into round 25. As they're going to switch their focus onto the A site, where there are only 2 defenders. Waiting over there in CT is going to be Kusta. Very passively watching the Arch cross.
Yeah, they want to give it up, and the thing is, Flipside love Arch so much that this is quite a risk. I mean, he just wants to be a fast rotate to B, and that's the risk you have to take once you're down a man. That, or just completely stack A and leave your man at B to his own devices. But yeah, there's a smoke. And Kusta becomes useless once again, and here is the Arch wrap that can come out. But oh, Library isn't actually smoked here.
Yeah, they threw a Molotov in kind of a weird spot. It wasn't in the Moto or in the Library, but Bondic able to get one. Now Lucky in main line. That was Lucky from the back of the site. Main line from Pit, where we have seen him play some rounds out pretty well. Bondic left now in a 1 versus 3. He's had a lot of clutches in this game. He'll start off with a kill on the Relics. He doesn't have the bomb himself, though. So, and yeah, also the time is gone.
Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I started to lose faith that Selfless were gonna be able to win that round once I saw that smoke go out, Kusta and CT once again, and then him dying in library. I'm like, okay, it's just gonna be you know, history repeating itself once again. But that round they ended up just having a better sight hold overall. Makes you wonder how much of this game has come down to simply hitting shots. I mean, Flipside aren't doing anything special, but they're doing a great job of applying pressure at all the right times. And it's not going to work every time. That's just the way T-side goes. But with the way it's going, they have won most of the rounds that they've tried.
So round 26 is vitally important. It'll allow Flipside, if they win it, to pretty much close it out against a very broken four-step buy from Selfless. And if Selfless win it, it keeps them in it and builds up their money. Flashes and quick progress into B from Flipside, making gains onto the site. Shara takes Uber out from, I think it was second Oranges there. And Relics has been able to fall back into the garden and even further into construction. 5 men on the site for Flipside. Selfless. They've got a hard decision to make. Do they go for this? Or they try to keep up some rifle so they have a hope going into round 27? And now that it's 3 versus 5, well, they're still going to go for it. Lucky's pushing in, finding himself still smoked off, and World Edit through the smoke, lands a shot onto Lucky. Same thing. Kusta going down, sprayed down by Bondic, and Mainline the only one to get away, and he might be chased down.
Yeah, that's and that was a change of pace that we talked about. That you mentioned that might really just change the way that Selfless assumed that the round was going to go, and that, you know, it's Flipside grouping up for a B hit. They've scared Selfless into playing sites only, you know, completely playing passively, completely worried about giving up that early pick to some really good nades, flashes, and just, I guess, you know, players hitting their shots. You know, a front man like Bondic just coming into your area and one-shotting you, and then you feeling like you lose the round. And I think they got them to that position, and then now that they know they get map control out of spawn, they go top banana, they group, and then they hit B. And no one's peeking mid, no one's on a fast rotate, no one B is challenging, and they come in with the round because they're able to control the rotations really well.
And now we get into that first situation that I described in the last round, the broken force buy here from Selfless. Oh, Lucky in a decent position, but they're already thinking about spamming through those boards. I'm pretty sure they're going to use a Molotov to clear that out as well. And World Edits, before that smoke goes, he finds a shot onto Uber. Only bite off more than he can chew, though. Getting spotted, but they've pushed through the smokes, and Relics retreating through the one in CT. We'll pop a flash and go back in for more. Finds a shot onto World Edit and able to retreat again, live another day. Did he pick up the op? No, he didn't. So still just on that 5-7, but it comes with a lot of bullets, so he's good. More fire onto the site. That was actually friendly fire. And 4-on-4 retake, a possibility, but Lucky, you know, all the way over an A alternate with the Mag 7 is not going to be the best weapon for a retake situation.
No, but they've got to go for it. Could be the last round here. Shara gets 1 kill, hits a 3v3. He's getting another one, and Lucky and Mainline left alone, though. They both get a frag each, and it's all on Shara, who has 2 kills. Looking for the 4K. The 1v2 is in the smoke at quad, and they find him, but do they have a kit? And it looks like they do.
Oh, that fell apart real quick. As I'm saying, the Mag 7's not the weapon to have. Lucky finds a headshot with it and some confusion. Shara was lining up some kills, but no one else on his team was. I don't know if he was getting enough support. I think he found 2 there before he was starting to hide out and new box in behind that smoke, and now it's 15-12. Money, though, still there for Flipside. Rifle comes out. Full utility, more or less. Shara and Blade a little bit lower. And World Edit's got that up, of course.
They've got to be kicking themselves for not being able to close out that round. It was kind of handed to them on a silver platter, but the retakes have come out a couple of times for Selfless, so I guess I can't say I'm all that surprised, but now they have 3 more rounds to win. In total, they really haven't won that many rifle rounds on CT side, so it's hard for me to feel like that they can't come away with it. And it looks like an off-shot miss there from Kusta, who just hasn't really actually had that much impact in this game overall.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
But the impact that he has had that was obvious, at least, was negative, right? The one round where he gives up Arch and let his teammate get flanked.
Yeah.
5-on-4 now.
It's true.
Relic's trying to stop that cross. Hits them both at least once, but it's maybe not enough. Lucky finds a headshot at Mainline in the back of Pit. Maybe going to be good for 2. Gets Goosh. Got to stay away from the fire. You're low. The nade should finish him off if it threads the needle, and it won't need to. Steps in the flames and goes down. Convincing round here for Selfless. Unless Bondic left on 4 HP against 3, it will be difficult, and he's got to move out of cover to get to that bomb. So there's almost no way out of this for Bondic.
No, he's just looking to do damage here. And Kusta finally does find an op shot onto him, and now have the opportunity. I think I have a little bit more confidence. I actually going to get like a pretty bad buy out of Flipside, who are actually looking not to buy. Looks like 1 AK on Bondic because he had some extra cash in his pocket, but are going to look to bring it to match point. Yes. Could we see another OT here? I don't think my bladder can handle it. I might explode up on stage, to be honest. From excitement, is that how your bladder works?
No, I think it's a lot of water.
Oh, okay.
But maybe also excitement, as Kusta's got the op. Big full buy here for Selfless. Flipside, as you mentioned, just evening out that money. Bondic could still be dangerous with that AK. And honestly, Markelov with the Deagle could be pretty scary too. Into the apartments, mainline will spot them and throw down a smoke.
I wonder if the best play for Flipside is that, oh well, I mean they don't have any nades at all this round, but maybe next round to consider that top B hit once again. I feel like you won't have a situation where Selfless could play 3B. They did last round. It seemed like a pretty wise adjustment considering the rounds that they had lost most convincingly or came close to were on B hits. So I guess it will be kind of a mind game to see what they can get away with, because top mid isn't working as well as it once was.
Wow, that flash actually, well, it would have blinded Flipside if they all pushed out. And it actually really blinded Kusta. Now he's jump spotting into the apartments to see if he can't find anything else. Kusta's going to miss that one. Doesn't actually throw the flash, getting a little bit antsy there as he now runs into Blade with that P250. Takes out Kusta for free. Bondic blind once again. And he'll take down Lucky. 4 on 3 now. Selfless. They do still have mainline and Pit. Going to be a very strong position, but the bomb's gone down. Where else are they staging the retake? And now Pit's been given up. That is very, very bad situation for Selfless. It's up to Uber and Relics rotating in. Markelov with armor picked up a gun. Bondic as well, but on 12 HP. 2 in the back of the site here. Relics and Uber moving forward. And then suddenly stuck in time. And I think we all know what that might mean. Actually, I'm still seeing it on our individual screens. Yes, the winner is Flipside. I'm not sure what happened there. But the retake not successful. And well done for Flipside, winning 16-13. But also a good effort by Selfless, who were the big underdogs coming into this.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to talk about the last round of the match. And just to take you through that, I don't know if the server froze for the stream, but Uber in a 1v4 gets 2 kills and then gets taken down. Ultimately, you know, that came down to everyone just losing to people who didn't even have armor. And I don't know. There was a lot of ecos that round. It was kind of tumultuous. Yeah,
it was pretty crazy. I guess changing up the pace a little bit since they just had the pistol and the armors. Who was it? Who had the rifle? I think, was it Bondic again that came up?
Yeah, he had
Bondic was like absolutely huge that game.
Did he hit 30?
So many rounds. I have to pull up the stats.
He was at 29 the round previous, so even if he got a kill in that round.
Just going to take me a second to pull them up, but I'm sure the desk will cover it, so we won't worry about it. Either way, he was off to, at one point he was like 14 and like 4 or something.
Yeah.
Just crazy numbers early on. So many 1v3s. He was the player to watch. And in my mind, he's like, World Edit, of course, has his games. You know, so does Markelov, but he's transitioned from, you know, way back in the day being the star to kind of the support on this team. You've had some Twitter battles about that.
Yeah.
But Bondic, to me, is always fun to watch, and he really showed up here today.
Yeah. That was... All right, I guess we'll send it down to the desk and get their opinion on it. That's Richard, Lewis, Blue, and Lauren.
Thanks. You had to think there. He does get a bit confused, Lawrence, but thanks a lot for that. It is indeed myself, Richard, Lewis, Blue, and Thorin here on the analysis desk. And I've got to say, a little bit disappointed with Selfless there. I thought we might have been getting into overtime territory. Obviously, there's lots to break down. Got to say, though, the big talking point for me, your boy Kusta, my boy Kusta, not really turning up at all. And in that last round there, made a catastrophic error that cost him the round.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw Kusta completely drop the ball. And for whatever reason on the CT side, he was playing extremely passively, like leaving his teammates out to dry in a lot of those rounds, rotating off the site way too early, not trying to cover when players from Flipside would try to push around Rap side towards the A-bomb site. He just wasn't really there taking any risks at all. And because of that, he just was knocked out and left in situations where he would have had to clutch. And there's no way he's going to do that consistently with an op.
Obviously, since joining Team Liquid, must have had some coaching sessions with GBJ.
I know, yeah. He makes champions. He's turned him into the new Adren to replace Adren, obviously. No, in fact, in many ways, he was playing the decoy role with the AWP there. No, the thing for the team there is, I thought, like I said, it could be a close game, but I thought it'd be close because if Kusta's carrying, you know, and he's really putting in the game, he was the only, well, one of the only players along with Uber, the other person who's supposed to be the good player, who weren't performing actually. It was the other guys. It was mainline. They were putting up frags all over the place, so they were doing a good job. This was a really disjointed game, though. Like, it was going well early on, but then back came the Flipside guys. Flipside overall had much better execution. Like in the 2v2s and the 3v3s, they were much more solid. And you saw actually the way they played out their T side, they were obviously the more structured team because they just took like over certain spots and they just waited. Everyone had their angle covered, and then when the CTs would push forward, they were getting free kills all over the place. So they never had to actually enter a site to get the first kill.
That's one of the big problems that still exists with enemy is their T side is still extremely basic, and there's not really anything advanced coming into play for this team yet. Most of their strength comes from the CT side, and we just didn't really see a lot of that today. Mainly because again, Kusta just really wasn't shining on this map at all.
Well, you picked out a replay for us, Blue.
I think I did.
Going to bring that up for you now. I hope you did.
I hope it's the right one.
This is, of course, the score replay here. So talk us through what's happening, Blue.
Yeah, so this is the one too that where you really start to see it as a turning point. Flipside was taking the lead, and I think this was where Kusta falls back, and I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's Blade that moves up here and gets a pretty big 3K. One of these guys moves up, and it's right around Library. So this is really like the turning point. We could just see Selfless starting to fall apart as a team here, and right from this perspective, moves out, gets that one kill, pops back in for the second, and then rolls in for the third as well. Just brutal. The enemy aren't able to respond to that properly. And Kusta, the last man there too.
Kusta missed so many up-close shots as well.
Yeah, but I mean, the key issue there isn't the fact that he misses the shots. It's the fact that, okay, you get flashed, it's a timing shot then, you drop back, you go to Arch, and even if you can't see the smoke, you can hear the smoke being deployed. You know you smoked off. You have immediately got to go to Library at that point. That's what you've got to do. You've got to get into that library and stop them pushing up, and he didn't do that. You could see he was behind some of his teammates there who would kind of rotate to Library, and 3 of them get dropped. It was just, I don't know, it just really poor. It was a poor performance from Kusta. I never thought I'd be saying this at an event.
It's not the Kusta that you're used to seeing when he used to play with this team consistently. It seems like there is some changes coming into the Forge now since he's joined Liquid, and it's not good things, at least to play with this team. Maybe it makes more sense on Liquid's roster, but here it does not. So hopefully he goes back to some of his older playing positions for the next match these guys are going to have to play.
See, people wonder why I'm always skeptical of new talents. It's not that I don't think they can do it. It's not that they don't have skill. Some of these people inevitably eventually will break through. Some of them will become the new stars of tomorrow. But there's always so many people who have the potential, who can do it online, who do it in small lands. You've really got to prove it. That's when you really show yourself. So all the hype that was around Kusta at these NA lands, we've seen his first outing so far in a big competition, and even worse for me is, in theory, this all the pressure was off now. You didn't even have to win the game. If you just have a good game and you lose, no one would even be blaming you. They'd be, you're out the door anyway, you're up to Team Liquid. So this was a really, really bad first showing, and he's going to have to pick it up at this point in time because we know he's going to be playing either G2 or Tempo Storm, so it's not that's not going to be an easy match in itself right there.
Not at all. So let's talk about Flipside a little bit just before we go to commercial. It was almost like a classic Flipside performance for me. I saw some, fairly terrible rounds that just made no sense. They lost some ecos, but then, like you said, Duncan, the executes were pretty much on point on that T side. So, what do we think about the Flipside that's turned up so far at this tournament? I mean, can they go far?
I mean, in this group, that's the problem. I think the group is the problem for them because when I see, if they play against G2 against the top teams sometimes lacks firepower. They're not going to lack firepower against Flipside. Tempo Storm, at least as a team, has been playing quite well, so it's going to be tough for Flipside. But I think for them, their best chances if they get to go against Tempo Storm to get out. I think G2's probably going to handle them. I think.
I agree completely. I think Tempo Storm is going to put up a much bigger challenge if that's the team they eventually end up going against. However, we still have to see how Tempo Storm perform against some bigger European teams as well, and that's what we're going to find out next.
All right, well, thanks for your thoughts, gentlemen. Blue, you're going to be casting the next game, so
hyped.
We'll keep your box warm for you. Tommy Moses is going to be stood there. I think he's even shorter than you. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we're going to have one of the games of the day. I'm super excited for this one. It's going to be G2 versus Tempo Storm. Please do join us.